What if the knock you've been waiting for is closer than you think? What if the moment that shifts your entire direction in life is not years away, but already walking down your street? Chosen one. Someone is coming to your door with a surprise that will change everything. The question is not whether it will happen. The real question is, will you be ready when it does? There are seasons in life when everything feels quiet. Too quiet. Days repeat themselves. Efforts seem unnoticed. Prayers feel suspended in the air. You wonder if anything is moving behind the scenes. You question whether your patience is pointless. But what if this silence is not emptiness? What if it is preparation? Think about the times when life shifted unexpectedly. A conversation that opened a new opportunity. A challenge that forced growth you never asked for. A meeting that redirected your entire path. None of those moments announced themselves months in advance. They arrived suddenly, almost casually, yet they carried weight far beyond what you could see in that instant. Right now, you may feel overlooked. You may feel like you are standing still while everyone else is advancing. But sometimes stillness is not stagnation. It is positioning. It is alignment. It is the quiet before movement. Imagine this: someone is preparing to show up in your life with news, with an offer, with a connection, or with a challenge disguised as a surprise. You don't see them yet. You don't hear their footsteps. But that does not mean they are not coming. Life often arranges turning points in ways that remain hidden until the exact right moment. Have you ever noticed how growth feels invisible while it is happening? A seed underground looks lifeless, yet it is transforming in ways the surface cannot measure. You may feel buried right now, pressed down by pressure, uncertainty, or delay. But being buried is not the same as being forgotten. Sometimes it is the necessary environment for development. The surprise that changes everything rarely looks dramatic at first glance. It may arrive as a simple knock, a message, an invitation, a responsibility, or even a confrontation that forces you to rise higher than your fears. And when it comes, it will demand something from you: courage, clarity, integrity. Here is what many people miss: transformation does not begin at the door. It begins within. If you are not internally prepared, even the greatest opportunity can slip through your hands. If your mindset is clouded by doubt, you may hesitate. If your character is unstable, you may sabotage what was meant to elevate you. So ask yourself honestly, if the surprise arrived tonight, would you recognize it? Would you open the door with confidence or with fear? Would you step forward or retreat into comfort? This is not about fantasy. It is about readiness. It is about refining your habits, strengthening your discipline, and sharpening your awareness. Because when life shifts, it moves quickly, and those who are prepared move with it. Something is approaching, not by coincidence, not by accident, but as a result of unseen alignment and accumulated effort. The only thing left to determine is whether you will meet it as the person you were yesterday, or the person you have been quietly becoming. There is a reason this message found you at this exact moment. Not because you are superior to others, not because you have been chosen in a mystical sense, but because you are standing at a crossroads, even if you do not fully recognize it yet. Every major shift in life begins at a crossroads. One path keeps everything familiar. The other demands growth. When someone comes to your door with a surprise that changes everything, it will not just bring opportunity. It will bring responsibility. And responsibility is heavier than excitement. It requires maturity. It requires restraint. It requires the ability to think beyond immediate emotion. Many people pray for change, ask for elevation, hope for breakthrough. But when change finally arrives, it often looks different than imagined. It may require relocation. It may require leaving behind certain relationships. It may require confronting habits that once felt comfortable. Are you prepared for that level of disruption? Consider this: sometimes the surprise is not a gift wrapped in comfort. Sometimes it is a test wrapped in potential. A new position that demands discipline. A partnership that demands patience. A challenge that exposes weaknesses so they can finally be strengthened. The transformation is not in the knock itself. It is in how you respond. You may be thinking, why now? Why after so much waiting? Why after so much frustration? But waiting is rarely wasted. Waiting builds endurance. It sharpens awareness. It filters out impulsiveness. It teaches you how to stand firm when outcomes are uncertain. Without that waiting period, the surprise might have destroyed you instead of developing you. Look back at who you were 1 year ago. Are you the same? Or have quiet experiences shaped you into someone more reflective, more cautious, more intentional? Growth is subtle. It does not always announce itself, yet it prepares you for moments that require stability under pressure. The person approaching your door might not even realize the impact they are about to have on your life. They may simply be acting on their own journey. But intersections are powerful. When two paths cross at the right time, both lives can change direction. This is how opportunity often works. It appears ordinary until you look back and see how pivotal it truly was. But here is something deeper to consider. What if the knock is also symbolic? What if it represents clarity arriving after confusion? What if it represents courage rising after fear? What if it represents accountability confronting complacency? Sometimes the surprise is internal before it ever becomes external. Ask yourself, have you been refining your character? Have you been strengthening your patience? Have you been developing the discipline needed to handle something greater than your current circumstances? Because elevation without preparation leads to collapse. You are not being told that everything will suddenly become easy. Change is rarely easy, but it can be meaningful. It can redirect your energy toward purpose. It can open doors you once believed were permanently closed. The knock is closer than you think, and when it comes, it will reveal more about you than about the person standing outside. The real transformation will not be what enters your life. It will be who you decide to become when you open that door. There is a moment right before everything changes, when life feels almost ordinary. The air is the same. The room looks the same. Your routine continues as usual. And yet, beneath the surface, something is shifting. The surprise that is coming to your door will not announce itself with dramatic signs. It will arrive quietly, and its power will unfold gradually. Have you ever realized how fragile a turning point can be? One decision, one response, one yes or one no. Entire futures have been shaped by small, seemingly insignificant choices. That is why awareness matters. That is why presence matters. Because when the knock comes, hesitation can cost more than you imagine. You may have spent years building resilience without realizing it. Every disappointment strengthened your patience. Every setback sharpened your judgment. Every delay forced you to question your intentions. Those experiences were not random. They were training. Not for comfort, but for capacity. The surprise that changes everything will likely stretch you beyond what feels convenient. It might challenge your current identity. It might require you to release an old version of yourself, and that can feel uncomfortable. Growth always does. But comfort has never been the birthplace of transformation. Ask yourself something honestly. Are you holding on to fear because it feels safe? Fear can create the illusion of control. It tells you that if you stay small, you stay protected. If you avoid risk, you avoid pain. But what if staying small is the greater loss? What if the real danger is refusing to open the door? When opportunity appears, it rarely guarantees certainty. It offers possibility, and possibility demands courage. You will not see the entire staircase. You will only see the first step. The rest unfolds as you move. It is also important to understand that not every surprise is meant to be embraced immediately. Discernment is essential. Reflection is necessary. Integrity must guide you. The right opportunity will align with your values, not contradict them. It will challenge you, yes, but it will not demand that you abandon your principles. That is how you distinguish between distraction and destiny. Sometimes the person approaching your door carries information you need. Sometimes they carry an offer. Sometimes they carry closure. And sometimes they carry a mirror, forcing you to confront truths you have avoided. Each of these can change everything in its own way. You may feel nervous thinking about what is coming. That is natural. The unknown has always unsettled the human heart. But remember this, uncertainty is not the enemy, stagnation is. Uncertainty pushes you to think, to plan, to grow. Stagnation convinces you that nothing better is possible. Right now, you are standing in a space between who you were and who you are becoming. That space can feel uncomfortable, even lonely. But it is powerful. It is where clarity begins to form. It is where courage quietly develops. When the knock finally comes, it will not just test your readiness. It will reveal it. And in that moment, you will understand that every delay, every lesson, and every quiet season was shaping you for something that required strength you did not know you possessed. Now imagine this clearly. The knock finally happens. Not in some distant future, not in a vague someday, but in a real, ordinary moment. You hear it. Your heart pauses. For a second, everything inside you becomes still. This is it. The moment you sensed was approaching. But here is the truth no one talks about. The real change does not begin when the door opens. It begins in the split second before you reach for the handle. That silent internal decision determines everything. Will you respond from fear or from growth? From insecurity or from preparation? For years, you may have been building yourself quietly, strengthening your discipline, correcting your mindset, letting go of habits that held you back, developing patience when outcomes were unclear. You thought you were just surviving. In reality, you were stabilizing. You were becoming someone capable of handling more. The surprise at your door may not look overwhelming at first. It could be a proposal, an invitation, a partnership, an opportunity to lead, or even a difficult truth that forces a new direction. But its power lies in what it unlocks. Once you step through that doorway, you cannot return to who you were before. And that is where many hesitate, because growth closes old chapters. It changes routines. It shifts relationships. It demands higher standards. Are you willing to outgrow the version of yourself that felt comfortable? Are you ready to release excuses that once felt justified? Sometimes, the person knocking is simply a catalyst. They are not the destination. They are the trigger. They activate something that was already forming within you. Confidence you were slowly building. Vision you were quietly shaping. Courage you were gradually strengthening. But understand this carefully. Not every open door should be walked through blindly. Reflection is power. Integrity is protection. The right opportunity will align with your principles and long-term direction. It will stretch you without compromising your values. True elevation never requires you to abandon what grounds you ethically. When everything changes, it rarely changes only around you. It changes within you. Your thinking becomes sharper. Your boundaries become clearer. Your time becomes more valuable. You stop entertaining distractions that once consumed your energy. You begin to operate with intention. And here is the final perspective to hold on to. The surprise coming to your door is not random luck. It is the intersection of preparation and timing. If you had received it earlier, you might have mishandled it. If it came later, you might have missed it. But now, you are closer to alignment than ever before. So when the knock comes, stand tall. Breathe. Remember the seasons that strengthened you. Remember the setbacks that refined you. Remember the patience that shaped your character. Then open the door not as someone desperate for change, but as someone prepared for responsibility. Because in the end, the greatest transformation will not be what enters your life. It will be the realization that you were capable all along. The surprise does not create your strength. It reveals it. And once you see that clearly, everything truly begins to change. After the door opens and the surprise steps into your life, there comes a quiet aftermath that few people prepare for. The excitement settles. The conversation ends. The reality of what just happened begins to sink in. And that is when the real work starts. Change is inspiring in theory, but demanding in practice. Once everything shifts, you are no longer dealing with anticipation. You are dealing with responsibility. The opportunity must be managed. The new direction must be maintained. The growth must be sustained. This is where consistency becomes more powerful than emotion. Think about it carefully. Anyone can feel motivated for a day. Anyone can feel confident in a single moment. But can you remain disciplined when the novelty fades? Can you stay focused when distractions return? Can you protect what you prayed for once you finally receive it? The surprise that changed everything was never meant to carry you on its own. It opened the door, but you must walk the path. It created momentum, but you must maintain balance. And balance requires awareness. You will notice something interesting as you move forward. Not everyone will understand your shift. Some people will question it. Others may feel uncomfortable with your growth. A few may even try to pull you back toward the version of you they were familiar with. This is natural. Growth disrupts expectations. But you cannot shrink yourself to make others comfortable. If the opportunity aligns with your principles and pushes you toward integrity, then it deserves your full effort. At the same time, humility must remain your anchor. Success without humility becomes instability. Growth without reflection becomes arrogance. Ask yourself often, am I still aligned with my values? Am I making decisions from clarity or from ego? Am I staying grounded while stepping into something greater? These questions will protect you more than any external advice. There is also another layer to consider. Sometimes the biggest surprise is not what arrives, but what leaves. Old habits, old fears, old limitations. When everything changes, certain parts of your past can no longer follow you into your future. Letting go may feel uncomfortable, but it creates space for expansion. And here is the most powerful realization of all. The knock on your door was not just about opportunity. It was about identity. It forced you to see yourself differently. It challenged the limits you once believed defined you. It revealed that you were capable of more responsibility, more influence, more discipline than you had previously accepted. The person you are becoming will require higher standards in thought, in action, in communication, in self-control. This is not pressure meant to break you. It is pressure designed to refine you. So, as you move forward, remember this moment. Remember the quiet seasons that built you. Remember the anticipation that prepared you. Remember the courage it took to open the door, because the true transformation was never about the surprise itself. It was about who you had to become to receive it, handle it, and grow from it. And now that you have stepped into this new chapter, the next knock will not find you waiting in doubt. It will find you standing ready, stronger than ever before.